This is the cartridge version of A Hat in Time on the Nintendo Switch. This is a research stream for a game that I played for about 20 minutes before I started recording this video. So I'll start from the beginning. This is a game that I purchased a couple of months ago. I never actually got around to playing it. I rented a bunch of games from the library usually. So I usually try to get those out the way before I start to pull from my my Switch collection. I have about a dozen or so games in my Switch collection right now. I got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3 already. But I've already done some Xenoblade Chronicles 2 videos that no one seems to be interested in. So I'll get around to playing Xenoblade 3, I don't know, maybe sometime near the end of the year. Maybe during a hot weekend when it's too hot for me to go outside. I'm not going anywhere for a while. I'll probably just stay inside and burn through a bunch of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like, I want to go at least 5 hours deep, because I made it past Chapter 1 in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I did alright. I'll go back and play that game later, but it's not like the game's dropping in price anytime soon.
Good morning, and welcome to yet another day of space adventure. You are only 5 light years away from your destination, home.
Right.
The fuel tank is full and the ship is flying at full speed. Today's to-do list contains waking up, adjusting the engine.
So this game seems to be reasonably charming so far. We'll see how it goes. This game, this is a platform game that came out on PCs, and I believe it came out on the PS4, and of course it's out on the Switch as well if you want a physical copy. I believe it was Tom Chick over at Quarter to Three, the infamous person who hated, didn't like Deus Ex, basically. He said this game, and Agents of Mayhem were voted his favorite games of 2017. So I've sort of been curious about this game, because he was never really a fan of Mario Odyssey. I think he hates Mario as a mascot. But he seems to really like this game as a replacement for Mario Odyssey, which I don't think he played much of. I don't think he was really that interested in it. Press the ZL button and we'll be able to see where our destination is. This game has a lot of like quality of life features that I would expect. But then again, this game came out in 2017, so it comes from an era when games like Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, games that I've played on this channel before, games like that were based on far more antiquated game design principles. They were fun, they're very good games, but this game is about sort of building on what those games did by making them sort of easier to figure out. Stuff like that, where the game literally tells you where your destination is. So you can explore, but you're less likely to get lost if the game just tells you where to go next. Which is an extremely useful feature.
All boats need to pay toll in Mafia Town, even in space. Mafia come in to collect.
I guess it's an extortion racket.
How rude! Uh-oh.
It's no more inane than any Mario Brothers story. So I think we can admit that. We don't play games for the story on this channel. Unless, of course, we're playing something like, I don't know, Drakengard 3. I actually kind of liked quite a bit of Mass Effect. The Mass Effect. I didn't play Andromeda yet. Dragon Quest Inquisition. There are some games where I actually do like the stories. Guardians of the Galaxy on the Xbox One. I played a bit of that on this channel. Stuff like that. But I don't usually play video games for narrative reasons, as I'm sure you can tell. I just like burned. I basically incinerated Last of Us Part 1 for that reason. at some point, like, you can have a good story, I guess. And Last of Us 1's probably a good story. It's just not a game I want to play, and that's probably the same problem I have with Drakengard. But I'm very curious how this 3D platformer goes. Okay, we're chasing Little Red Riding Hood. What's going on here? Okay, this game's going to tell me what to collect, huh? It's part of a code to a vault, so I have to go and get the other one, huh? I guess the frame rate doesn't hold up very well, but I guess the motion blur isn't terrible.
All mine.
I want to say this game's at 30 frames a second. Or at least it's kind of a shaky 40. I'm not going to worry that much about it. I mean, maybe it runs better than Tears of the Kingdom does. At least the cartridge version. Tears of the Kingdom obviously had a few problems. Like, it was supposed to get 30, but if you use that weird Ultra Hand ability, you're probably getting you're getting in the low 20s most of the time. They patched them apparently after launch, but again, if you don't have an internet connection, you can't steal one from a library. I guess you'll have to get another cartridge. You know how Nintendo does. I want to say there are at least 2 prints, maybe 3 of Breath of the Wild, and the later cartridge prints. And contain all the patches. So if you're lucky, you might have a version of, Breath of the Wild or whatever that's actually been patched. So you don't need to get on the internet if you have that version.
Seagull eat fish, but fish belongs to Mafia. We punch Seagull for not respecting Mafia. Seagull say, no punch, I have child. Mafia punch Seagull with child.
Okay. I think the dudes over at My Life in Gaming played this during a stream, and it's like, I guess they weren't really that impressed with it. But I can understand playing a game like this, like on a Sunday night, like you got nothing to do and you want to play a platformer and you don't want to play Mario. Like in my case, I don't have Mario Odyssey. This game costs half as much as Mario. Mario Odyssey costs like $60, right? Maybe $55 if you're lucky. Or you can buy this game for $20 and you're set. I think this game might cost like $20 or something. But I want to say there is no DRM on this game. So you might be able to play it on PC if you bought the game on Steam or from the Humble Store or whatever. Or if you got it as part of a Humble Bundle or whatever. You could conceivably get your hands on this game for like less than $10. And if it runs on your if it's laptop friendly, that would be great. I mean, it's always kind of interesting these days figuring out which games actually run on laptops. I mean, remember, this is the era of the Steam Deck now, so it's possible a lot of developers, if they feel kind of burned by the Nintendo, like if they don't like, the Nintendo Switch is so massive that games like this kind of have to run on the Switch, even though they don't look that great. Like this game looks like it looks okay. 720p. I'm playing it docked. I tried playing it with in handheld mode without the dock. It looks okay. It seems to run fine. But I'm playing it docked for this particular video, like I do in most of the videos. Okay, I have enough yarn to stitch a hat. When did that happen? Select the hat. So I can spend A to spend 2 yarn to stitch this, whatever this is.
Gotcha.
I look like a pizza delivery guy. So I can sprint. So, what game had that? Well, Mario Odyssey obviously had the hat system. What other game had that hat system? I'm forgetting. I'm trying to think of like an NES game that had a similar kind of hat mechanic. Felix the Cat didn't really have that, but I remember it was a game that was kind of like it was kind of like Super Mario Brothers, where when you powered up Felix the Cat, he would end up getting like a tank. I know he basically think of Mario Brothers like you start out small, then you power up and you can get big, then you power up again and you get fireballs, and that's your basic Mario Brothers mechanic. That's your basic Mario Brothers power-up system. But when Felix the Cat came out on the NES, you would power up once to get a car, then you would power up again to get a tank. Which is an interesting idea, because, I mean, the idea is that you can shoot projectiles with either power-up. But it's a pretty basic idea of, okay, if we're going to make a mascot platformer, let's make it like Mario, except in this case, let's try to make it like a bit more interesting. And don't just make Mario bigger so we can take another hit, you know, actually give him a car so maybe he can move a little bit faster. Yeah, in fact, I think the car could actually shoot stuff. You can run up walls in this game, but then after a while you slide back down. So that should be a fun mechanic if it gets abused. I played, yeah, that's right, I might not have the video up on the channel yet. Last week I played a video game called, what is it called? Clank? Not Ratchet and Clank, Clive. Something in Clive, what was it called? Clive and, I don't remember what it was, I don't remember what the name was, I have to pull it out. Something in Clive. Hold on, let me get my menu. So I got that collectible, I don't care about that. So I got the sprint hat. Okay, so the kids, if I wear the kids hat, I can hold ZL to advance the game. So it's like a cheat mode that shows me where to go next. But if I click on the hat and then put on the sprint hat, I can run faster. And this game does have a speed run timer. I just didn't turn it on. Yeah, there it is. It's a speed run timer right here. So again, when you learn how to play the game, you can do it that way. What was that Clive game I played? I don't remember. You were a rabbit. It was a exploratory 3D platform game, kind of like Mario 64. I thought it seemed reasonably good. It only ran at 30 frames a second, but it was pretty good. Like, really huge. Like, I got kind of a Chibi Robo vibe to it because, well, you weren't limited based on, you know, some weird stamina mechanic. Like, you weren't. Like, I remember in Chibi Robo, if you remember that game on the GameCube, it was a game where you basically played a Roomba. ZR. Maybe I can't do it with this hat. Oh, so you can sprint with this hat, but you can't crouch with it. Oh, sorry, wrong button. I'm sorry, wrong button. Sorry, I was hitting ZL. So ZL is how you sprint with this hat. Yeah, so the ZL button's for a hat-specific move. But you can crouch with the ZR button. You can also slide to it. When you're running, you can also slide to a stop. Requires 4 yarn. Okay. Needs to be an interesting collectible system in this game. Well, I already spent 2 yarn on this one. The game won't tell me what it does. Let's see how we can do this. And you can hold down the L button to switch between the 2 hats in a hurry, so that's cool. And the R button is for recentering the camera behind you. They got some motion blur going on here, but it's fine. There's a bit of choppiness to it, so like I said, the game's not running at a solid 60. But that Clive game I played, again, I wish I remember that. Again, that's how generic the title was. I don't even remember what the title of the game was. You were a rabbit. It was a 3D platformer where you were playing a rabbit, and it wasn't Jazz Jack Rabbit. They said they can't all be Ratchet and Clank. But I did play I played the PS4 version of Ratchet and Clank a while ago on this, like several years ago. I think in 2020 they were giving it away for free. I mean, like, it's okay. I just remember in the early aughts, you know, Ratchet and Clank was like up there with Mario 64. That was a very highly respected game when it came out. Like, it's okay. I still think it's a huge deal. I can double jump in this game. Okay, let's sprint. I tried to double jump. No fall damage? No fall damage. So I think I screwed that up. We'll be fine. Okay, so let's match relics. So what other game am I thinking of where I have to collect relics? Was it Warcraft? No, it was a Warframe. It was in Warframe. But this game does give me that Clive vibe. That game actually came out in 2023, I believe. I'm playing this game in 2023. But this is why I don't buy. This is why I don't spend $60 on games like Mario Odyssey, and I'm not really pressed to play them right away because they're not going. I mean, that game's not going to disappear from the marketplace or anything. Like, Super Mario 3D All-Stars did. I scored that game for 15 bucks. I got a lot of store credit built up. I pressed the Y button to attack these enemies, apparently. Whoops, didn't work. Just a second. Y. Do I have to get behind them? There we go. So it's a dive bomb attack, I guess. So if you're above an enemy's head and the QuickTime event button appears, you can press the Y button to do a dive bomb on them, I guess. But you have to. It takes a while to line up. This is not a combat game. Like, this is not like Super Mario Brothers where you're constantly hopping on enemies' heads. Like, it's not that kind of game. But I have always wondered how to make, because I have Super Mario Maker on the Wii U. It's the first game I bought on the darn thing when I bought it in 2018 or something. Like, I want to say that's a game where I'm like, how can I make a Mario level? How can I make a Mario level like? Yeah, like, how can I use Super Mario Maker to make a game like Super Mario Sunshine or Super Mario 64? It would have to be exploratory. You could still have the platforming challenges. Like, you can hide certain, like, hidden... You can hide, like, certain items. Like, you can gate... Well, you maybe don't want to gate the items. The idea is that you can hide certain items behind certain platforming challenges. Like, you know how in Mario games you could hide 1-ups in, like, secret places, or if you jump on enemies. If you make, like, a really difficult jump, or yeah, if you knock Lakitu out of his cloud, you might get something. So you saw me run up the wall there, right? You can knock Lakitu out of his cloud or something and ride the cloud to get something useful. Something like that. He already came here. Is there a map? Not that I nearly need one, I don't think. I pressed the X button. I don't even know what that does. I have no idea what the X button does. Camera smoothing. I forgot to see if that's going on. This reduces jitteriness as well as motion sickness, especially for any third parties watching. Yeah, like people. I guess people who watch Ninja might be sick of his mouse looking, because if you try to use like the mouse looking in all of the Fortnite videos Ninja does, it's gotta be insane. I forgot to turn off the camera shake, the Harlem Shake on the camera. Recommended if you dislike manual camera controls. Yeah, again, this game's like figuring out. You can skip all those skippable cutscenes. That sounds good to me. A very generous assortment of features so far for this game. That's nice to hear. Especially for an indie game. People don't associate indie games with, like, accessibility and stuff like that. But it all depends on, where do you want to spend your resources? Do you want to spend your resources making a game like Ratchet and Clank or Rift in Time, where you need, like, a freaking, like, you need a PS5, super fast, solid state drive just to run the freaking game with 4K visuals or whatever, 60 frames a second? Or do you make a game like this? Do you spend all of your resources just kind of making the game more accessible? Working on your level design. Because that was apparently the one thing that a Rift in Time did not have, which was the gameplay. Like, it felt like kind of a by-the-numbers 3D platformer. And there have been bad Ratchet and Clank games. Like, what was that game? Yeah, there was a PS3 game that was like, was it like One for All, I think it was called? I think I played it on this channel. If I didn't, you can forgive me. It's a pretty unremarkable game. It's like a 4-player couch co-op Ratchet and Clank game. But I played through all of level 1. It was an interminable level. It's like an hour long. That level lasted forever. So I guess the whole point is that you get 4 of your friends together and you play a game on your couch. And that concept is amazing. Like, that's old school. But the game is just terrible. Like, I couldn't play more than an hour of it. It was just interminable. It was just a really unremarkable, It was just a really unremarkable, 3D platformer. It was just like a conveyor belt. It was a completely unremarkable game. Like I said, I probably have a video of it. I know I have a video of it. I just didn't make one. I just probably didn't upload it to this channel because it was so unremarkable a game. Bye, dude. Don't know what that was about, but I guess I killed him. I can't tell. Yeah, I guess I killed him. Oh well. I guess he was one. I hope he was one of the bad guys. Yeah, like, I know people feel some kind of way about those old school, like, Genesis and like those European platformers from, like, the early 90s. You know, Genesis platformers where it's like, yeah, we want these, like, Sonic the Hedgehog kind of had a bit of that. So a lot of European developers were like, you know what, we're going to make a game, like Turrican, like when Turrican came out. We're going to make a Contra game, except the levels are going to be huge. Which, again, sounds amazing in, like, a Metroid kind of way. Like, what if Contra had massive levels? Well, the problem is you get lost. Because there's no map. In the case of Super Turrican on the Super NES, which I played on this channel, they have arrows pointing you where you're supposed to go. But that wasn't every level. Some games were just straight ahead, like, platform levels. But some levels were, like, exploratory, and you needed those little arrows to show you where to go sometimes because the levels were so big. Yeah, it's kind of hard to punch these guys. Yeah, it's kind of hard to line up your punches. So you're better off just kind of doing the ground pound on them, doing the midair dive bomb on them when that Y button appears. But yeah, that's gonna throw people off. Like, people who want to play this game like Mario are not gonna like that, because in Mario, like in Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, you have way more traversal options. And the game doesn't really pussyfoot around the fact that, yeah, you might have to jump on an enemy's head. It's not a game where you have to, like, do chain jumping off of enemies' heads, like in Mario, the Lost levels, like the Japanese Super Mario 2. Like, that's a game that was about, what, chain jumping and super precise platforming. Which, for people who like that kind of thing, is probably great, but I never liked Mario games that were that hard. Like, I like the fact that, what is it? Super Mario Sunshine and what was the other game? They made those things optional. Super Mario World did that too. They made all that crap optional. That was the right idea, I think. I need 2 more yarn. Did I miss something? I think I was trying to get onto the ring. This didn't work. Oh well. I admit, like, I play. Whoops. I play a lot of platformers, especially because I have a Super Nintendo and I have an NES Classic. So obviously I played a lot of platformers in my day. I mean, if you were a kid back in the 80s and 90s and you played any video games at all, like, half of the games I played growing up were platformers. I don't know where the blue volt is, so I guess I can just find it if I want. And again, if you want to be a completionist on any of these levels, that might be fun. Like, I'm fine with stuff like this, like, you know, your Saints Row 4s, where they take your platforming. Like, Banjo-Kazooie probably made it a bit weird, but I liked games like Donkey Kong Country more than most people. So I was okay with some of the platform collecting in those games, so long as the coins were leading me towards areas to explore. So this game seems to have that vibe, but the levels are much more varied and more interesting, I would argue. So there's something to be said for that. But I do have Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie on the rare replay. Again, those games are on my to play again list, because I played those games when they launched, but I barely remember them at all. Like, if you bought a Nintendo 64, Banjo-Kazooie was a launch title, so you kind of had to get it if you got sick of playing Mario. But I avoided a lot of the Banjo-Kazooie games, so I rented them and then never bothered worrying about them ever again. I need to heal myself. Help me out here. I need a better soundtrack. This seems kind of unremarkable. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's right. I never made this jump here earlier. Hold the ZL button. Yeah, I can't double jump while I'm running, I guess. And that was a bad jump. I also can't break. I probably need another hat to break that stuff. So maybe I'm just done exploring now. This was a research stream. Again, it's a research stream. I kind of want to see what's, I kind of wanted to explore a bit. So the game gives you that option. And I appreciate that. If you're not going to make an open world game, you can make a big old hub area and explore that. So obviously I'm going to play Mario Odyssey at some point, but because it's so expensive and so highly sought after, I'm probably not going to be, I'll probably have to luck out. And I don't want to waste anyone's time by trying to reserve it at the library. It's like a Pokemon game. I figure at some point it'll be available and I'll get a chance to play it for like a week and then I'll have to give it up again. But I lucked out with a couple of Pokemon games. Like I got my first ever mainline Pokemon game on this channel a couple of months ago when I played Pokemon Sapphire. It wasn't special, but I know generally why Pokemon games are highly sought after by people who grew up playing them. But the problem is that I remember I grew up. You have to start somewhere, and I'm from the Final Fantasy Dragon Warrior era. So a game like Pokemon is like whatever to me. Like I've been playing games like that since 1990. So if I want to play a game like Pokemon, I'll just play Final Fantasy 1 on my NES Classic and then promptly forget about it. I'll go back to playing that game someday because, again, it's on my NES Classic. It doesn't really, like, it's the kind of game I kind of want to, like, pick apart because I beat it so many times as a kid, but I was cheating because I was using the Nintendo Power Strategy Guide. So there's no reason for me to just go out and, there's no reason for me to, to just kind of play the game like normally. I kind of want to pick it apart because I was a kid when I played that game. So I kind of want to approach it from an adult point of view, because remember I've been playing video games for so long. I want to see if I play the game knowing what I know about video games and software development now, playing a game like Final Fantasy is interesting because you're more familiar with like the rules of RPGs and the rules of software development and game design. So you go back and you play a game like that. You want to see if it holds up. Why does it hold up? Because the game's so old. The game was developed like 1986, wasn't it? Final Fantasy 1 was developed in the Reagan era. It didn't come out in America until 1990 because was there an incentive in the United States to release an RPG back then? And they finally got around to localizing it in 1990. But the game is ancient. Okay, why are we here? Okay, bye. It's just a fun aside, I guess. I don't know if Mario does stuff like that, but they could. Whoops. Well, I missed that jump. So I guess I'll come back later when I get a better hat. A lot of alcohol in this game. What's this game rated? I'll break out the box later. I bet it's like rated... Yeah, it's rated T for teen. Wow. I wonder how well this game sold. It's rated T for blood and fantasy violence. What kind of game is... I thought this was like a I thought this game was like rated E10 or something. Yeah, what was it? Mario... What game was it? Mario Odyssey was rated E10, I think. In Japan, I think it was rated like E10 because there are bombs and I think explosives in Japan give the game a more adult rating. I forget what it is. Like, I'm trying to remember. Super Bunny Hop did a video about video game ratings around the world, and it's great. Like, I think it is essential viewing for anyone who has a strong opinion on how other countries handle certain content. We're not just talking about, putting fog on putting fog over anime women when they're not wearing clothes. I'm talking about like games where they're like, yeah, Resident Evil 4 is less violent in Japan because they don't allow decapitation. Whoops. Crap. Resident Evil 4 has some really nasty images in it, obviously. Like, a dude freaking chainsaws your head off at one point. Like, and you struggle. Like, there is a game over screen where you struggle to keep a chainsaw. A guy's attacking you with a chainsaw, and there is a struggle, and then your head just gets lopped off with that chainsaw. And they took that out of the Japanese version. Yeah, I think they took it. They just straight up took it out. Because decapitations and dismembering is not allowed in a lot of mainstream Japanese games, even if they're M-rated. So I mean, again, say whatever you want about Japan, but there are things that they just won't allow even in their M-rated video games. So the next time you have a conversation about censorship, be sure to mention that. And be sure to include that little bit in your censorship discourse. Hold on, where's the... But yeah, apparently Super Mario Odyssey was rated like E10 in Japan because of some bomb mechanics that I think Japan isn't usually comfortable with in their video games, I don't know. Or at least in their video games for kids. How do I save my game? Well, there is a lot of auto-saving going on, I want to say. Mantle up. We'll leave them alone. Yep. Why am I collecting these things anyway? It's like in Saints Row 4. I'm just collecting it because it's here. Not necessarily because I'm actually going to use anything with it. Okay, so this is the higher platform I was trying to reach earlier. Was it worth it? Probably not. Yeah, this is the indie Mario game. Yeah, this game seems fine. I'll come back and play more of it later. I just have to kind of document my progress here. Yeah, this seems fine. I don't know if I could sprint jump over there. We'll come back later and worry about it. I don't know if we can save our progress. Ooh, is co-op in this game? How would co-op even work? Well, we'll be back in a second to our research stream here of Hat in Time on the Switch. The cartridge version of Hat in Time. Okay. As we were. Well, I guess if nothing else, I'll be able to get past the first level. Okay, my destination's over there. So that icon is always going to appear on the corner of the screen. So I always know where I can go eventually. That's a nice little thing. I'm glad they added stuff like that. It's like Skyrim. They added these little waypoints. You always know where you have to go eventually. So you can go off the beaten path. As long as you know where your destination is, you should be fine. There's something over there I can grab? Bye. Did you drop any good loot? I think I missed one of those balls. Nope, no good loot. I don't think you dropped any loot. Too bad, really. Guess he went splat on the concrete. Didn't drop any good loot. What kind of video game NPC are you? Are you important?
Hi there, young one. I am from a faraway land. I've seen every corner of the earth, and now I sell tiny pieces of my discoveries.
This text is kind of hard to read, unfortunately.
You may call me the badge seller, for I sell and trade badges. I can provide you with strong abilities and upgrades to your hat.
Maybe that wacky text is supposed to imply his alienness, I suppose, because it's kind of hard to read. Because this text is really easy to read. I guess he's out of time. A mumble bash. I didn't know there was fall damage in this game. I haven't seen any so far. This seems interesting. We'll worry about that later. So I have 84 of these baubles. I need 800 for this. I mean, do I need that mumble bash to, like, unlock something? Seems weird. That guy's gonna do patty cake with me and then take it and then smack me across the room. So I got that. I got for the fire. Let me make sure I get back to my destination here. Here we go. There she is. So there goes Red Riding Hood.
Hey you! Down
I mean, Mafia Town can be a really dangerous place. So what'd you say? Wanna join my little rebellion? Oh, by the way, did you have anything to do with the junk falling from the sky? Yeah? Yikes! Looks like you've got a lot of cleaning up to do, huh? Tell you what, come up here and I can show you where some of your junk landed.
Tell you what. I guess it landed there. Well, that's where I am. Can't open that. So what are we doing here exactly? Careful. There we go. Of course, why do I want to be up here exactly? Oh, here we go. This looks important. Okay, so now what? Maybe it's another way. Oh, okay, that's what's going on. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Follow me, Rebel Squad.
Rebel Squad goals. Woo! There? Yeah, there. No, wait. Fine, there. Okay, so now what are we up to?
Hey, I think one of your junk pieces fell and smashed right into the market's fountain. Messed it up real good. When going over there, just avoid making eye contact with the Mafia and you'll be fine. Good luck, fellow rebel. See ya!
So we're rebels? And I guess I'm not getting the whole Robin Hood, Marie Antoinette vibe so much. Maybe it's like a Star Wars rebellion. So there. And called we trust. We said don't make eye contact. What, are they going to chase after me? Whoop, too late.
Hey!
Huh?
I'll take you.
Huh? Oh!
Down with the mafia!
Now I can actually attack them. Give me that.
Thank you.
I guess we'll resort to violence now. Yeah, so I guess you finally got a chance to choose violence as a mechanic in this game, as opposed to just avoiding things. It was good to actually have a melee weapon. Yeah, this game seems fine. Of course, I didn't 100% this level, but what are you gonna do? Okay, as of today, that Ikari Warriors 3 game, that Ikari Warriors 3 video I did for the NES, seems to have blown up. It's always weird when these again, it's not based on effort. That was not one of my best videos. It's like 15 minutes where I try to like revisit Ikari Warriors 3, a game that I beat when it launched in like an hour, maybe even less, because they had unlimited continues. It's like Guerrilla Wars, except Guerrilla War was actually a good game on the NES. Ikari Warriors 3 is just a really bad top-down brawler, like really bad. I remember it having decent graphics when it came out, but in retrospect, they look extremely like super geometric. It's kind of a mixture of like cheap, like good environmental assets, like all of the dirt and the water effects, and some of the foliage looks really good, but they're applied in these really sort of incredibly flat geometric patterns that are just really lame. No reason to sit in this swirly chair. Well, I got a weapon now, so that's cool. Where am I going exactly? Oh, I know. The kid's hat will tell me where to go. There. Okay, so I guess I'm going here. So how do I open it up? So I need 113? Is that how many coins I have? 113? Or is that how many I need to open the darn thing? Second. I have 113. Okay, so that's to explain how many I need to open it. But I do have one time capsule thingy. Oh, okay, there we go. Timepiece detected. So I need 5 to unlock that, I guess. That's a boss. That's an act I can unlock for $5. So this is the Urusei Yatsura game. The Urusei Yatsura level. Any green-haired horned alien chicks in this level? Well, not this one. We'll see what's up. So we've already run into Boletta from Darkstalker, so why can't we get Urusei Yatsura alum in this game? It's either her or what's her name from Outlanders. I want to say that all the Urusei Yatsura movies are rated PG-13 now. Well, they were probably rated R. They're probably rated PG when they came out. Darn it. Okay, so where's 2 and 3? Okay, we got it. We're good. So you might pull 90 minutes out of this video. What do you think? You can always come back and do more later. Your cookie is bad and you're a bad person. You should be able to bounce up here like in Super Mario Sunshine, right? There you go. Or is it Mario 64 where you can bounce on these things? Ow! Well, I lost my... Did I lose my, It's like I lost my, umbrella. I lost my... No, there it is. So I have to open up all those keys to get the vault. At least the game helpfully tells you where they are. Sit. So the case helpfully tells you where the how you can unlock it, how it can unlock itself. The little helpful guiding strings. I have this hat, so I get 1 yarn anyway. I need 1 more yarn to make the next hat. This hat, the brewing yarn. So again, I'm kind of curious what I'll actually earn if I can find this other hat. Careful. You're like, how would you make a game like this in Mario Maker? Well, again, it would be super exploratory. So, I mean, what else would you want to be able to do with it? How many hits? That was 3 hits. Five hits, I guess. I should probably put on the other hat. Yeah, put on the sprinting hat. I want to say there was another NES game that had like a hat system, like a hat power-up system like this. I don't remember what it was. I mean, it wasn't like that common a mechanic. Like, it wasn't that common an idea. I mean, wasn't like there's some like NES or Super NES games where having different suits was important. But I don't think we've ever had a game where you could like combine like gear, like pants, wearing different pants, and like shirts would give you different abilities. I think, what was that game? The World Ends With You might have had a bit of that, where it's like you wore a certain kind of pants, a certain kind of shirt, and that determined what you were able to, what your buffs were, like whether your hit points went up because you were wearing certain pants. And I think Earthbound might have done a bit of that too. Like if you were wearing certain shirts, your HP, your health points went up. You know what I mean? But yeah, I swear there's an NES game about hats. Where you collected hats as power-ups. It wasn't Hatris. Was that game even any good? I mean, I avoided a lot of puzzle games back in that era because I was so mad at Nintendo released Tetris without the co-op. Still, I was terribly perturbed by that. Because I knew that I played that Tengen game when it launched. I was perturbed when I couldn't play that when Nintendo disallowed that game to exist. That cartridge is probably worth like a couple $100 these days. As is, you know, I bet Rolling Thunder on the NES is worth a couple $100 too. I'll have to double check. But again, I was just talking about this game costing half as much as Mario Odyssey, so why would you play Mario Odyssey instead of this? Well, brand. That's why. Like that Barbie movie's coming out. I mean, Barbie video games, you know, bestsellers. I don't know. So I got this hat. You already have this hat, but you get what yarn anyway. Okay. So yeah, if I didn't have that yarn yet, I would. So now I have enough yarn to make this hat. I don't remember having that umbrella when I made the first hat, or the sprint hat specifically. At least, I didn't have the umbrella in my inventory. Like I wasn't attacking enemies with it when I made the first hat, the sprinting hat. Look up mad concoctions, yo. Cooking up brew in a crock pot. So I'm holding down the ZL button. Nice. Grenades. So when are we gonna get the game where you're like it's a kid's game, but you get like an assault rifle? Of course, not an assault rifle. It'd be like some kind of magic spell that you wield, and it's basically like an assault rifle. You know, cute video, like a water gun. It's like an automatic gun. You know what I mean? Video game logic. Stop. In with the grenade. Should have heard him more. Okay, so I guess the grenade's worth 3 hit points. That seems pretty cool. I have no idea what those word balloons are going on about. How do I heal myself? Is this like Shadow Warrior back on the PC? I have to like hunt for stuff. I have to like hunt for health power-ups. Where's my regenerating health? Come on, what happened to all the quality of life improvements? Yeah, I want to say the PC version of this game does not have DRM. So if you buy it on Steam or Humble, or at the Humble store or whatever, you're never going to be bugged for like a... You don't have, basically if you buy the game on Steam, you can run it on any computer you have. You don't need Steam to run this game apparently. I'll double check, but because I like telling people, hey, this game doesn't require DRM. So if Steam blows up tomorrow, you can still play your game, unlike say Microsoft, if their servers go down. Like imagine like not being able to play Diablo 4 because the servers are down. I don't know. I can just pull out my copy of Diablo 3 on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, so I guess that's the, I guess that word balloon is where I'm supposed to go. That's the boss, it's the boss level, yeah. But I need to heal myself. I took too many dumb hits. How do I heal myself? Of course, I probably need to figure out what happens if I die. Maybe that's a better question. What's the fail state? I mean, there are keys to unlock other areas in this level, but it doesn't seem like you're hunting for keys. Like I remember in that Clive game, whose title escapes me, the bunny mascot 3D platform title I played. As I recall, like there were certain rooms you couldn't go into until you like found certain items.
Put me down, you big idiot!
Hey, child, shoo! Mafia can't have child witness when Mafia teaching lesson. Oh, this awkward for Mafia. Mafia not sure what to do. Boss, what do we do with eyewitness? Teach her lesson, boys.
See how far she can swim in a cement suit.
Papa Mafia.
Hassan Chop.
Why, you little...
Oh, haha! Guard, turn, parry, dodge, spin. Ha! Thrust!
Got you all figured out.
Oh, this guy's elite. Ow! Now I can do the homing attack. See, that's what I mean. Now they tell you how to do it.
No child will be in the way of Mafia.
Look out.
I'm so confused.
All good.
Enough. Mafia won't bow to little girl. Prepare to feel Mafia's wrath.
I don't know what they're trying to do with these voices. Maybe they're trying to avoid the obvious Italian stereotypes.
Do not think about avoiding barrels.
I can't go up.
Stand still.
So what do I do?
See if girl can handle this barrel.
There's something over here that will blow up. Oh.
Heads up, little punk.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna blow up those little gold fire hydrants, but I guess not. Whoops. That was a fake out there. So what am I doing? Yeah, that barrel just triple jumped.
This lead nowhere. Mafia need to take care of this Mafia style. Prepare to feel what Mafia do to old ladies. Oh, my head.
Ow! Yeah, Tom Chick has something about the boss fights aren't like these really like... They aren't like these really like interminable affairs where you're like trying to whittle down enemies who just have incredibly long hit bars. Like he called it a dance where it's like, yeah, you're just kind of like doing these very simple like dodge and attack maneuvers, I guess. I guess it's kind of like Mario, because Mario always had like really easy boss fights. Like, just do the thing 3 times. You damage them 3 times to win. The idea in Mario is that you're kind of ducking and dodging until the enemy's vulnerable. But once if you hit them while they're vulnerable 3 times, then you win. That's basically the whole idea. Mario battles tended to not be drawn out that much. Okay, I beat Mario World, but I don't remember the boss fight being that drawn out. But there is a lot of downtime in a Mario fight while you're trying to look for an opening.
Bunch of losers.
Losers.
Hey, you're all right, new kid. Do you have a name?
Patrice? No, I can't think of a clever name for her.
No? You shy? That's cool. You're a less talk, more fighting kind of girl, I take it.
So she's like Chun-Li, basically.
That thing you grabbed there, are you collecting them? Because I know where there's more of them. They've been raining from the sky ever since you arrived. I've seen the goons bring them to their headquarters way up there.
There.
We should go up there and get your junk. It'll be fun. I'll take any opportunity that involves messing up the mafia. You with me, buddy?
Mustache girl. Okay. I just called her Little Red Riding Hood. So, okay, Boletta, what are we doing here? So, if she's Boletta... Well, no, wait. If she's Boletta, I'm what's-her-name from Konosuba. Well, it depends on what hat I'm wearing. What was the name of what's-her-name who shot the fireballs in Konosuba? She got her own spin-off series in 2023. I forgot what her name was. Was it Megumi? Megumi? I don't remember. I barely remember Aqua. I know Aqua and Darkness. Those are the Konosuba, the characters I know. Look, I only saw the first like 5 or 6 episodes. Like, it's fine. Like, I thought it was legitimately entertaining. But there's this, all the characters are anti-heroes, and they all have an anti-chemistry that I kind of like. It's kind of like Bugs and Daffy in those old Warner Brothers cartoons. I mean, obviously in those cartoons, Bugs was the good guy, but he's a straight guy. So I guess in a way, the dude is the straight guy of this anti-harem that seems to be going on. But even then, it's like, yeah, if you only see the ladies as waifus, then yeah, you're going to completely miss the point of Konosuba, which is like, you're not supposed to want to marry any of these women. They're completely off their nut. And the dude's like really inappropriate. So again, he's an anti-hero. But he's usually played up as a straight guy, so I mean, okay. It depends on how you feel about the chemistry of those characters. So I guess we'll come back and play more of this game later. The game seems fine. So we put about an hour and so into it. This game seems fine. I'll come back and play more of it later. I mean, I own it. The whole reason I bought it is so at some point I can kind of play through and kind of see if I like it enough to buy it on Steam. But Terrence, you like physical copies of video games. Yeah, I do, but... And this is a physical copy of the Switch game. But my logic is... play the game enough to see if I like it and then ultimately sell it and use the money to buy something better. One of these days, I think on a hot summer day, I'll wind up playing Grease. G-R-I-S. Beginning to end. Again, I own it. I can press the D-pad to switch hats using left and right on the D-pad. Okay, that's cool. Some games I just play. I play games just enough to see if I like them and want to keep them. Otherwise, I play them just to see if I want to get rid of them at some point. But I was selling a bunch of games to like get really expensive Switch games, like the Fire Emblem games, the mainline Fire Emblem games, which are stupidly well. They dropped in price recently. I think Three Houses is now $40 now, which is a more reasonable price for like a 5-year-old video game. But what are you gonna do? So I would end up buying Mario Odyssey at some point, but I'm not really in a rush. I'm hoping at some point it drops to 20, but it's probably never gonna happen. Who am I even kidding? Nintendo doesn't care about saving money anymore. So this was a research stream for A Hat in Time on the Nintendo Switch. The physical cartridge version, which was, I believe, published by the Humble Bundle. No, not yet. It's right here. Version 1.01. It's published by Humble Bundle. Yeah, presented by Humble Bundle. So they did the physical copy of this game, which is nice. But again, you can buy it on PC, and it's not going to require a... It might not require Steam once you download it. So it might be a game that you can just play without requiring any DRM at all. So we'll see how that goes later. I'll play more of this later. This will be kind of a tweener game for me, I guess. I'll get it out of my system at some point. But there's other games I got to play through and then ultimately sell. I got a bunch of Monster Hunter I'm supposed to be playing by now. Why am I not playing Monster Hunter? I got 2 of those games. We'll figure it out.